Hello, my name's Jonathan Coe, and first of all I just wanted to say that I'm really pleased and honoured, in fact, that you named your reading group after one of my books, The Rotters Club. That's a very nice thing to know. I'm also very happy that you asked me to choose your anniversary book, your 100th book. That's a great pleasure, also quite a responsibility, because I wanted to try and choose something that you'd all enjoy. And I hope that was the case. I chose a novel from 1940 by the Irish writer Flann O'Brien called The Third Policeman, which is one of my, probably one of my 5 or 6 favourite novels in the world. So of course I really hope that you all liked it. This is my edition of the book, bought back in the 1970s in Hudson's bookshop in central Birmingham. Not there anymore, unfortunately. It has this nice Ralph Steadman illustration of one of the policemen on the cover, and this was part of a run of reissues of Flann O'Brien that came out at that time. There was a little bit of a revival starting. I was 18 or 19 then, I guess, and I was still a big fan of people like Monty Python and Spike Milligan, and in Flann O'Brien's books I found some kind of echo of that absurdism, that humour. Wow, we're getting a lot of noise interference today. I'm sorry about this. We seem to be on the flight path. There's a helicopter heading off to the helipad at Battersea, I suspect. Anyway, going back to Flann O'Brien. Yeah, I don't know if you know anything about the story behind The Third Policeman, but it was his second novel. He'd had quite critical success with his first book, At Swim Two Birds, and he wrote The Third Policeman in a great phase of excitement and inspiration in the late 1930s, and then was devastated when his publisher turned the book down, rejected it. It was a rejection he took very hard, and he never showed the book to anyone again, and really for the rest of his life nobody knew that it existed. He used to tell people that he'd lost the manuscript because he was driving across Ireland from one side of Ireland to the other, and the car boot was unlocked and the entire manuscript blew away and was scattered page by page across Ireland, which after he died in 1967 turned out not to be the case, because they discovered it in a drawer of his desk, and it was published and immediately recognised as one of his masterpieces. But that rejection was a terrible blow for him, and he really retreated into journalism and didn't write any more serious novels until for another 20 years or so, till the 1960s, when he produced 2 more books which were not quite at the level of his earlier work. Really for me there are 4 Flann O'Brien masterpieces: this, At Swim Two Birds, The Poor Mouth, which is his satire on Irish misery memoirs of the 1940s, very funny even if you don't know the books that he's making fun of, and his journalism, his column for the Irish Times, Cruiskeen Lawn, of which there are many anthologies. The most famous one is the big chunky one called The Best of Miles, and if you enjoyed The Third Policeman, then that would be a great place to carry on reading Flann O'Brien. So I hope you have enjoyed this book. Thank you again for asking me to be a part of this. I'm sorry I couldn't be there in person tonight. I'm on my way to France, but have a great evening. Enjoy The Third Policeman and any other books by Flann O'Brien that it leads you to. Bye-bye.